Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time tuning in, then welcome. Thanks to all the new subscribers that have tuned in the past week, and everybody that's left comments asking about the new bike, and just appreciate all the views. But I figured I would hop back on today now that we have some sun and give a little review of the bike. Fortunately caught up here in the twisties behind this truck now, but let's see if there's anywhere I can get around. Alright, now that I'm around that truck, let's get back to the review. So I got the bike broken in. I've got about 638 miles on her now. Everything's great about this bike that so far. I haven't found anything that I really don't like, minus the exhaust, because it's quiet and it doesn't sound bad if it was just louder. And I'm on my way now to go remedy that situation. I've got a set of slip-ons waiting on me to come and install. I'm going to post that up in my next video and give a good comparison between the stock and the ones that I got. You have to tune in to see what I got. Only other thing I ordered are the chrome, or not the chrome, but the blacked out hardware to replace the chrome hardware on my tour pack, so that I can match the new bike. And it was a bit of a torturous first 500 miles because you couldn't really go over 3,500 RPM, and I don't like to look at the RPMs when I'm riding. I just like to ride my feel, and the bike isn't really telling you to shift yet, but you have all your power pretty much. Now for the break-in, I did majority run it in road mode and then switched over to sports after it got broken in. Ooh, what is this coming? Oh, nothing, okay. And you can tell a huge difference in the two. There's definitely a lot more power in sport. The throttle is a lot more twitchy and responsive. I generally only use it if I am in twisties, but in road mode most of the other time, because it's plenty of power. So there is temptation to go stage 2, and because I've got all the warranties, I would end up staying with the Screaming Eagle. I know it'd be cooler to go with something nicer, but ooh, what do we have? Or something different, I shouldn't say necessarily nicer, but I would love to go with fueling, because I'm a big fan of the way those sound. One of my friends just got a 508 cam in his 117, and it hits. You can feel that thing thumping when he's riding behind you. But this bike has been great, and I'm gonna let it ride for a little while before I give any upgrades. I would say the suspension is leaps and bounds ahead of what I had on the Road King. I'm so much more comfortable, and for being 6'3" as well, speaking on comfort, the new fairing is great. I have no issue with helmet buffeting on the new fairing, and there is a little bit of air hitting like the kind of my forehead. I'm going to see what Clockworks releases at Daytona and maybe upgrade then. Oh, that was a good bump. But like I said, overall this has been a great bike. The power response is so much better. All of the safety features, which I was kind of questioning, I actually kind of like now. The bike stops a lot faster. I've got to admit, with the link braking, it feels a lot more like a sports car than the Road King did. The Road King was a great touring bike, and this is going to be a great touring bike, but it just didn't have that razor-like feel going into turns. Like, I could never take turns like this on that Road King. And I'm also really enjoying the bars on this bike. to my surprise, I was thinking that I was going to want them higher immediately, but they're really comfortable. And even the seating position, I'm really curious to see what comes out at Daytona for seats. If everything works out well, I'm going to go down to Daytona for the first few days and look at parts and see what I can get and figure out what I want to upgrade on this bike. But honestly, there's not a lot that I want to. It's really a top. Whoa, okay, buddy. It really is a top-notch bike for what you get stock from the factory now. Harley has really stepped it up because, I mean, it's cheaper than last year's specials. It feels significantly nicer than the ST that I test rode. The fairing is way better about moving air around you. There's some issues still with the infotainment. They're still updating and getting it all straightened out. Like right now, the only issue that I really have is with CarPlay, and when a text message is being read back to me, I can't hear it, and I can't really interact or hear Siri very well on the bike. So it may be just user error, and I just got to figure out what setting I'm missing. But overall, the bike is great. I mean, it just picks up and leaves. You don't think about having to pass anybody, especially if you're in sport mode, because it does give you your full horsepower in sport mode. That bike is kicking it. Should have tried to catch up with them. Well, they were gone. Their hair was all flopping in the wind. They need to get a hightail. That's how I keep my hair good. People are always like, how's your hair still curly after you got off that bike? I'm like, it's in a pouch on the back of the bike, and it works really great. So shout out to Hightail. This is not sponsored, but they're a good company. Anyway, back on the Harley. If you're considering upgrading to one, go test ride one, but be warned, if you test ride it, you're gonna want it. That's what happened to me. I was skeptical. I went into the dealership in December thinking, hey, I'll test ride the ST since they're making good deals. And then they were also letting people test ride the CVOs. And I test rode the ST and didn't like it. Which, in hindsight, I think it had a lot to do with the handlebar placement being like so much farther down on those. And it felt really weird to me coming off of 16-inch ape hangers on the Road King. And then I was really disappointed after I rode it. I was like, well, I guess I'll keep my Road King. And then I rode the CVO right after and loved how the fairing moved. And since they moved this fairing down to the standard line, it's a great deal. I'm glad I didn't buy the CVO last year, though. I would have been very upset. But that kind of concludes my thoughts on it. I'm going to take it on a couple of little trips here shortly. I've only kind of been riding around town and just doing the break-in miles and really just getting used to the bike. But I think the first trip is hopefully, if everything goes well, gonna be Daytona. I may go up to Atlanta with it. I'm not sure. I may just be driving when I'm in Atlanta, but I'm anxious to see how it feels after being on the road for several hundred miles in a day. Because like I said, the seat is really comfortable. I wouldn't mind being pushed back just a little bit, but then that also affects the bars. So it's kind of just a cascading effect of if you change one thing, you have to change this thing, and then that thing make you want to change this thing. And as they say, buying the Harley is just the down payment on the bike and all of your accessories that are going to go along with it. So I'm going to try and behave and keep it stockish, but we'll see. And like again, if you've kept watching all this long on the video, appreciate you tuning in. If you'll hit that like button, give me a subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see y'all on the next video.